And Lois and Virginia Kerr, I understood, read yesterday, for about 6 or 7 years until the prison administration, in its infinite wisdom, decided to kill our program. ABC Prison Literacy worked with an inmate-based program called LIFE, which stands for, because it still does exist in other prisons, Learning is for Everyone. And it used the more able inmates, the inmates who could read very well, and some of them could read really, really well, to tutor the less able inmates. And as far as I could tell, it cost the prison nothing. There might have been a little bit of paperwork in going through our sort of the process of making sure we weren't dangerous and not a threat to anyone in the prison. But basically, it cost them nothing, and we think at the end of our program, just about the only real education going on in that prison. Virginia and I would go in once a week, and we were lucky. We were seeing kind of the cream of the prisoner crop, the guys who really could read very well, and I always thought of us as kind of, a treat for them. We were friendly faces who came in once a week and we read Shakespeare. We worked our way through Macbeth, Othello, Lear, Hamlet. The prisoners wanted to do Julius Caesar leading up to the 2008 presidential election, so we read that. And there were great, great moments. I mean, for me as a student of English, I really did learn a lot from these guys. You hear that, it sounds like it's kind of a cliche, but boy, they had a different take on things, and in some cases the same take. But I remember reading Hamlet. It was interesting hearing guys who'd done some pretty awful things talking about why it took Hamlet so long to get around to avenging his father's death. And I remember some guys thought, oh, Hamlet's a punk. He just doesn't want to, he's not brave enough or strong enough. But one guy said, no, Hamlet's got scruples. He doesn't know whether this ghost who told him that his uncle has murdered his father is telling the truth. He wants to be sure, so he's devised a test. He talked about Hamlet's scruples. That was wonderful. But probably my favorite moment teaching these guys came when we were reading Julius Caesar, where probably the best student we had, I think, someone who could paraphrase Shakespeare with a little bit of a street edge, but do it as well as I'm sure any Princeton undergrad, I'd have to say. He really was good at it. We were talking about why you'd read Shakespeare at all and what someone who lived 400 years ago, wrote 400 years ago, might mean to us today. And this guy said, man, I've known Brutus, I've known Cassius. Man, I've been Brutus, I've been Cassius. And that was probably my favorite moment, I think. So I'm reading 2 poems by 2 of the students who were in that class. One, Sammy Moore. My son is named Sammy, and Sammy in prison always got a kick out of the fact that my son is named Sammy too. I always worried my son a little bit, but anyway, Sammy, I'm told, and I have no way of knowing this from firsthand experience, I'm told he was illiterate when he came into the prison and really couldn't read. By the time I met him, which was 7 or 8 years ago, he was the head of the NAACP group in the prison and wrote very well and expressed himself very well. He could write in other people's voices. He was just really awfully good. So this is a poem called Self-Hate. And it goes like this. The Ku Klux Klan turned in their white sheets for a familiar face. Now they go by the name of self-hate. Like a germ, they contaminated every race. We're just too blind to see it's not the next man. It's me hating me. In the body of gangs dwells the spirit of Jim Crow. Ain't that some shit? A black man telling another black man where he can and cannot go. After our ancestors built this country through blood, sweat, and tears, you got the audacity to tell me what colors I can wear? That only goes to show just how far we have to go before we claim to be free. Right now, self-hate got us moving at a stagnated pace. All right. I'm sure Sammy would be very proud to know that I'm, not the fact that it's me reading it, but that someone's reading his poems to all of you. I don't know how many years he would have been in prison when I met him, but he never seemed to tire of pushing for more classes for the inmates, more opportunities for them to do things and sort of break out of the incredible mundane routine they go through there.
And I should just add that he's now at East Jersey State Prison, and he's doing the same kind of work there in education for his fellow inmates.
Yeah, I should also... I'm sorry, go ahead,
and
Marcia.
I'm just going to say, I write him all the time, and I will write him that he's been here tonight.
Yeah. He'll be pleased. I must say, I mean, this is kind of the background a lot of these guys come from. Sam told me that both his brother and his mother were in maximum security prisons. This is by someone named Terrence Brewer. I think it was from Trenton. I think he actually told me before he went to prison he worked at Prospect House as either a waiter or a chef. I'm not sure which, but this poem's called Transformation. As I sit here cursing doom and the path I chose to take, I wonder if this accursed tomb will soon become my fate. Mulling through ashes, feeling I've become inured to these self-imposed lashes, yet 'tis quite absurd. Away with you, old indigo mood, I'll entertain you not, my friend. For a higher authority assures me I shall arise yet once again. My transgressions were forgiven, for I've learned to submit, my heart no longer cold and icen. My lamp has been relit. And through this transformation, I've learned the reason why caterpillars enter cocoons and emerge as butterflies. Again, that's Terrence Brewer. Thank you very much.